is everyone today? And for those that don't know me, I just realized today that I don't ever say who I am. Ugh. This is the Dear Dana channel, Dear Dana show. And you can just call me Dana. Dana Dane, whatever you want to call me. And today we are going to be talking about finding our gifts and our shadow side. I don't know how many people know even what I mean when I talk about that, but it's really important. So let's get on with it, and I'll do my intro. Here we go. My husband was in a panic. He was like, "Honey, did you know your show says it's scheduled for 4:15?" I'm like, "I know I'm blind, but I don't think it's at 4:15. Maybe I'm crazy. Did it say 4:15 to all of you?" I'm so happy that everyone is here. We're going to have a little celebration when more people get in the room, but it is Jenny M's birthday today. Yes, it is. It's her birthday today. And I'm hoping I can bring her on for a little bit and we can sing happy birthday, let her blow out a candle, because for our whole community, I sent her birthday cupcakes from all of us today. It says 7:15 on my side. That is so weird. Well, it's probably because I don't know where you are, Paranormal Witch Pixie, but it's probably because of time zones. Jenny said, "I didn't know what a shadow self was until last summer, and I'm still figuring mine out." Who in here, excuse me, does not know what a shadow side is? Tell me in the chat. Oh, you're probably an hour different, Paranormal. Jenny says, "The cupcakes were on my doorstep with a note that said from the Dear Dana community." Yes, from all of us. Was it someone else's birthday here that I'm missing today? Hey, Yanni. And Queen Bee. Who else am I missing? JC Bear. He helped me to find a place to send cupcakes from because she's in Canada. I mean, in the United States. I'm still a little bit off. Hey, Marzi, when it comes to sending to other countries, I know Canada's like our bosom buddy, but you know, it's not the same as sending within the United States. Anyway, I will get to the topic. And I'm not going to get as dark and deep as I had to in grad school. But when I was in grad school, I had, it was one of the options I had to take. I had to take a class called, hello, Vintage, called Psychology of Evil. Psychology of Evil. Because the dark side has levels. I'm going to become Teacher Dana for a minute. Carl Jung was a renowned psychologist, one of the fathers of psychology. Carl Jung. Welcome to Teacher Dana's class for a moment. I know that you have all heard of Carl Jung. I know that you have all seen this. My dry markers suck. I'm just going to say it. I'm not monetized yet, so I can get by with slipping a little bit with bad words. Okay, we've seen the yin and yang symbol. Okay, that has the dark. That's not a very good one. That has the dark and the light side, right? We've all seen that symbol at some time or the other. That's the yin and the yang, the opposites, the dark and the light. We've all seen that symbol. And he was great in bringing forth that symbol. It's power of the negative and the positive, dark and the light. Well, when we talk about our shadow self, in my opinion, my studies, we've got a measure, right? We've got our light self, and I'm going to call that our soul, for lack of better. Or that's the most light you can be. And here's dark. Let's call that evil, right? That's the most dark you can go. And in the middle, if we have done our work, here's humanity. Here's humanity. Hopefully, somewhere along the line, we've done our work. But really, we all end up somewhere along here, along this line. Some people are more evolved and swing some more toward the light end. Some people are less evolved. And the less evolved you are, more toward the dark end, you'll find more of your sociopaths, murderers, people like that, right? That have no conscience whatsoever. And the more you swing toward this way, you probably find more people like Mother Teresa, let's say. So are you following me so far? Hey, Jamie B, we've got to connect sometime. So is everybody kind of following me? Hey, Kai Bear, throw your butterflies down if you're following me, if I'm making sense to you. I'm trying to simplify it. So most of us fall within this range. The closer you follow to the end of the dark, the more evil and you're committing crimes upon humanity. The closer you follow to the end of this, you're either in heaven, for lack of better. And by the way, there is a heaven. Been there, seen it. You can believe me or not, but there is one. Or you're on earth doing good for humanity. So, getting back to shadow work, or in your shadow. Most of us, and we know this to be true, depending on what group we're dealing with in our life, whether it's at work, at the club, with our family, to some degree, hey Miriam, to some degree, we sort of wear a mask, right? You act one way if you go to church. You act another way around your family a little bit. You might put on, if you're single especially, she's laughing. If you're single especially and you're at the club and you're trying to, hey Shan, if you're trying to hook up, I don't want to say hook up. I don't want to say slam it down in the bedroom either. That sounds awful, doesn't it? Thank you, Vintage. I love all the butterflies. I love that Miriam, I believe, is the one that came up with it. I love that all of you decided that you were going to be butterflies. Love it. Represents growth. Everybody's already laughing. Shan in the van in the house. It's a full house. Ooh, ooh, ooh. But we all put on some kind of facade. Hopefully, we get to the point where ourselves, right? At my age now, finally, for the most part, I'm mostly just me. I think I'm mostly just me. If I'm mate, Lord, where is my brain? Mate, help me. If I meet, not mate, if I meet someone brand new, if I'm going to interview for a job, I might be a little more reserved than I would in my everyday life. Shit, Jesus. Oh, I know where your brain is. So, is that really a facade, or is that just a part of me that I know when to turn the volume down? I probably know when to turn the volume down. Yanni says, I don't have the energy to be fake. I'm with you on that. You know, I'm not fake. Maybe a left to center. You either like me or you don't. And if you don't like me, that's okay. That's okay. Because I'm not your flavor. And your squad is somewhere else. We're not all made for everybody. It's just the way it is. If we were made for everybody, might be a boring world, yeah? I died for a couple of minutes and felt like I went to heaven. I get you. We'll have to have one of those discussions one night because, like I've told some of you already, a lot of you already know, I had a near-death experience at age 12. And when this show is over, if you all would be interested in talking about near-death experience or something like that, please put it in the comments below. I would like to hear your ideas of what you'd like to talk about. Anything to that effect in this community. I don't have a community tab right now because YouTube requires that you have so many subscribers. So, be that as it may, my way of communicating with everybody right now, if we're not communicating on IG, is for you to leave me comments below. So please utilize that. I will answer you. I will always answer you. It may take me a minute if I don't see it, but I'll answer you. I would love to hear your story, by the way, Kai Bear. Paranormal says, I don't have to be fake and don't time to deal with drama. Me either, girl. Drama stresses me out. If people don't communicate with me like a human being, if they want to be passive aggressive, if they play word garble, I drive myself crazy trying to think, what is this all about? Judy said, hit that button, share this, and subscribe. We love you, Dana. I love you. I love you. Aw, love you, Miriam. So, I gotta take a drink. I've been putting lemon in my water. Anywho, back to the shadow sign. I had to do the psychology of evil. It was hard because we had to study about things like, and watch graphic things about the Holocaust and all of that. Murders, crime scenes, etc. To the extreme. The psychology of evil. It was soul-shaking. I did not know if I was going to make it through that class, to be honest with you. Then I went on to more of Carl Jung's studies about shadow sign. Kai Bear says she always runs the other way from drama. I do too, but sometimes it's going to hit you in the face anyway, whether you want it or not. I have lived years without drama, decades. And then I start trying to do things in YouTube land, and it just kind of bites you in the butt sometimes. Anyway, be that as it may, let's all breathe. Seriously. Clear out the space. Inhale to 4. Hold it. Exhale to 4. Inhale to 4. Exhale to 4. Okay, going back. Don't want to lose everybody. One of the things that I found interesting, we try to shove a lot of the things that have been detrimental to us, traumatic to us, of course, stressful to us, hard things to deal with when we were kids, whether it was school, bullying, etc., things we didn't like about ourselves, things we struggled with, all kinds of things in our shadow. Because we come up and come up and come up, and we strive to be a certain way. So we have this mask or this presence that we want to be in the forefront, in the image of us ahead of us. We visualize ourselves and us that we want to be in the future, for lack of better. So we work and strive very hard to be that person. And all the things that we don't want to deal with, we don't like, that was part of our family maybe, things we watched with our parents, stuff, in that shadow. Sometimes it's consciously, sometimes it's unconsciously. I know maybe I saw a lot of arguing there's a lot of stuff I saw when I was a kid. Stuff. You know, I came from a family, you didn't talk about family stuff. It stayed within the 4 walls. You did not talk about it. You walked out of that home and you presented yourself a certain way, and that's the way your family looked, whether there were issues in the house or not. And again, my dad was in radio. And then radio was a thing. A lot of people knew who my dad was. People knew who us as kids were. We didn't know them. We're talking about adults and stuff. They knew who we were. We didn't know who they were. So if we were out and about, we couldn't do anything because it would get reported. Forget having cell phones. My dad knew everything we did. So I felt like in some ways, you know, we had to be on our game. So you stuff and you stuff and you stuff and you stuff and you stuff. And when I was real young, I was very skinny. Very skinny. Moved to a new school. Kids pick on a new kid. Kid mispronounced my name, called me Dino. Kids were trying to use that as ammunition. You know, that messes with your self-esteem. Go through puberty, everything changes. People didn't recognize me. Puberty changes everything. Except you're still the same person on the inside. So I may have looked different, but I was still me, right? So I'm trying to catch up to this person that didn't look the same, but felt the same. But growing up, where they said kids are to be seen and not heard, don't try to garner attention. Don't try to be the center of attention. You get what I'm saying? Don't put yourself in the spotlight. So I was always, I would make friends and stuff, but I would try to push everybody else in the spotlight. And to a large degree, I still do. I don't like to be the center of attention. Coming on YouTube was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I'm finally now getting to the point that I'm just not like, before I come on. So part of what I'm saying is, if you don't confront your shadow and all the things you're stuffing away in that trunk that is your shadow, along with the things you're stuffing in there, are some of your gifts. Because let's say while you're stuffing some of the traumas, the tragedies, the things you're ashamed of, or the things that you think you should be ashamed of, or the things you don't like about yourself, could be the very things that are part of your gift. Let's say that a comedian, for instance, somebody that is so bloody funny, part of their journey that they stuffed away is part of what makes them so funny, right? But they don't want to confront it. They don't want to really look at it and tease it apart and get a different perspective on it. And because they don't want to, certain doors don't open up. They don't get a different perception of themselves. Because when you don't look into that trunk, that shadow, you're not allowing yourself to become a complete human being, to get the full ride, the full experience. Because what happens is, when you don't really look in that trunk, the things that are in the shadow come creeping out in places you don't want them to, and make you respond in ways you don't understand, and affect relationships in ways sometimes you don't want it to, because you never took the opportunity to understand some of the things you stuffed away. Are you feeling me? Let's see what I'm missing in the chat. Let's see. Pixie said you and I both. Let's go down. I'm blind as a bat. Let's see. Where she said, I took a course, The Literature of Hope and Misery. We did the same, only read about them. Jung follows the philosophy of universal soul, doesn't he? Yes, something to that effect, yes. But we really have to... Hi, Pink Sam, welcome. Like that name. We really have to, if we want to, some people don't care. Some people really don't want to go that deep in their life, right? They just want to get through the day. And you can't, there's some days you just want to get through the day, right? But if we really want to live our life, not just exist, understand why we're here, then there are times we have to be willing to walk through the muck. We can do it ourselves at times, but we need help too. When I was real young, I was very not skinny. We all go through different realms of stuff, right? Puberty, shapes hit me I'd never seen before, along with PCOS. I'm like, what the what? Then it was a whole different kind of worry. But yeah, we all have the body image things. We hit puberty and it was like somebody put drugs in our drink, right? Yes. Oh, that's cool. Butterfly sanctuary. I like the word sanctuary. I want it to be a safe sanctuary. Beauty is really reality seen through the eyes of love. That's true. If you don't like yourself, if there are aspects you really hate about yourself, you could look like Angelina Jolie and think you are the ugliest thing God ever put breath in. Right? Oh, well done. Welcome. That's so funny. Okay, I missed the joke. You've done your homework. Okay, I definitely missed the joke. Dying is easy. Comedy is hard. Humor always plays with the dark side. That is very true. I would say 95% of comedians, their comedy comes from pain. They are able to tease apart their pain and let it become their therapeutic and turn it into laughter. And you know, if you make me laugh, it is funny. That is true. Whales. Oh, love those kind of accents. Yes, I do. But, I'd like to know what some of you think. I realized when I was taking a lot of the shadow classes that because I didn't want to be the center of attention, I had stuffed things or talents or things I could have been even more talented at in my shadow. And I embraced all these things that were yucky and teased them apart to own more of the dark side, for lack of better, to prove what was bad about me. Now, how messed up is that? How messed up is that? I was more comfortable teasing away the shadow side than I was embracing the light that I was. It was flip-flopped in some way. And when I realized that, I started doing a lot of light work. Immerse myself in it. And I don't want that to sound like I'm perfect or I'm higher up or any. No, absolutely not. It just means that I was back asswards, is what it means. I was willing to give myself a beating on the daily, beat myself up all the time, rather than own a lot of the positive aspects of myself. I was the one that was willing to look at myself and think, is it my fault? Is it my fault this happened? Let me see what I did wrong. That kind of thing. Could I have done something better? How can I improve? So I was always in competition with me. Still am. Competition with myself, which was greatly helpful in some aspects because I never had to worry about being jealous of anybody. Now, somebody tried to come after my man. Don't have to worry about that at this point. But that might have been an issue. Or I might have said, go on, dude. Don't eat it. Which is probably what I would have done. That would have been another choice. But I want to know what some of you think about digging into your own shadow, and if there are gifts that you have found, like for instance, have any of you ever thought about things when you were kids or much younger, things that man, you were just so passionate about doing that just fills your whole spirit up with this feeling, this energy that you could not explain, that you just felt such joy doing it, that you would work at it or do it and do it, and it just didn't matter. You could spend so much time, right? And you don't do it anymore. I used to dance and dance and dance and create choreography. I could get so lost in it. And if I had to dance in front of people, I could get so lost in the music and the dance that I would forget any of them were there anymore. Because I was so immersed in the dance itself. It didn't mean I didn't get nervous prior. I still love music and dance that way if I dance. I'm not dancing in front of people. I'd be dancing in my house, in my living room, in my bedroom, you know? But I want you to think about things that you've stuffed away or aspects of yourself that you stuffed in your shadow side. Gifts that you think that you've discarded or refused to look at. Maybe because of judgment or something you really were passionate about and you want it so badly. And because it was attached to a memory or a time in your life, you just stuffed it into your shadow. Take a moment and think about that. Do you think your life might have gone in a different direction? And if it's something that is not a physical impossibility, this is what I say to you. Not too late. It is not too late. Pick apart your shadow. Pull it out. Look at it again. Ask yourself why or why not. And I would like for you to think about the chart I made and ponder, where are you? Where are you on this chart? I know nobody in my territory is over here, down here where the dark evil side is. Not there. None of you. And a lot of you are probably closer to this area. Now, some of you may be stuck in the middle because you stuck so much stuff in your shadow because you're still letting that reel play in your head. And a lot of times that reel, that negativity, that self hijacking is there because you've put the key in your shadow. The key to unlock that. Take the key out. This stuff takes work. We were not put on this earth not to do self-work, in my opinion. If we had all the answers and we've done what we're supposed to do, we wouldn't still be here, in my opinion. When you've done the thing, when you've done all that you're supposed to do, it's time to go whoop it up. Oh, I shouldn't have said that, because I don't like what's her name. Somebody slap me if I say that again. Slap me. Jenny says, the shadow is a dark side of us that we don't want to look at. No, we don't. Because we want to be seen a certain way. I believe communicating with our demons brings us to a point towards a positive nature. We don't really have to look at it like demons. That is a lot to me of why people do not want to look. Because they're saying, oh, those are my demons. Hey, Adam Harris. So happy to have you here. When we say demons, that is what I think scares people. Because they're afraid. I don't want to look at my demons. Hell to the no, no, no. Don't want to look at my demons. And while we're talking about demons, while we're talking about it, I'm going to take a sip. Let me preface by saying, I like Nas X. I don't consider him a demon. I like little Nas X. Be that as it may, who's writing me? Nobody. Recently, a lot of stations stopped playing his newest song. I don't know if they put it back up, but people were having trouble accessing the song. There was an uprise about the song. He came on live because he was upset because people weren't able to hear the song. You know what I'm talking about. God, what is it called? Montero. And the uproar to me was not about the fact that he is gay. People were in an uproar about the fact of the end of the video, in my opinion. I feel that if he'd gone through the whole video, and if he stopped before the lap dance, if he stopped at the lap dance even maybe, I think once he got to the point where he tore the devil's horns off and put them on himself and his eyes lit up, that was the point that flipped people out. I think people probably, in my opinion, would have been fine. Some of them wouldn't have, but for the most part, Lord knows we've seen everything, would have been fine up until the bitter end. Because people are having all of these opinions and back and forth, he sold the soul, etc., etc. He's gone deep into the dark. Cardi B came out stating that she, what was the word she used? Rebuked him in the name of Jesus Christ. She did. That she didn't follow that tenement. That Lil Nas has gone too far. And she thinks he's made a deal, so to speak. So she didn't support it, etc., etc., etc. Now we know Cardi B can go on down there. Not down there, dark side wise, but she can get, she can get raw. She was like, oh, no, no, no. So I would like your opinion about, do you think he's gone too far? In his video, when he went to the very end, what you think the uproar is about. I think it is the very end of the video, in my opinion. We know some people are going to be like freaky deaky, that there's too much sexuality or whatever, but I think it's because the very end. I do think it's a metaphor. I just think the very, very end was going too far. But we all know Madonna's gone too far. A lot of artists have gone too far in their careers at certain time periods of our history, right? But he went to a degree that has got some stars wanting to detach themselves from him, especially when he put out, 1,000 pairs of, I don't know what shoe it was, that was supposedly had cycled so many drops of human blood, etc., etc. So, opinions are like booty holes, right? Everybody's got one. I just wanted your opinion. Either drop it in the comments, those that are watching after the fact, or drop it in the chat. Hello, Tammy! Marzi, Paranormal, Adam, so glad you're here. In a minute, I'm going to throw down the link because I want to bring up our sweet girl Jenny. And before the show's over, too, I also want to, anybody who has some positive local stories to share, because I know I didn't remind you guys, but we were supposed to share some of those. But today is about finding our gifts and our shadow. Yanni says, and yet they protect their kids from anything and everything. That is true. It is disconcerting, though. Yes, each character represents some type of his life experience. It can be a metaphor, but it is disconcerting if little kids can find it. They do see a lot, but I wouldn't want my little kids to be able to find it. Teenagers, they can make up their own mind. But like I said, I love Little Nas X. I do. He's genius. He's extremely talented. That's my comment about him. I just think the very end is freaking everybody out. Because I was shocked when I saw that some of the stations were taking his music off. And I think they're doing it because everybody got in such an uproar. Yes, he was. That was so funny. So, we'll discuss some more, but in the time being, I'm going to drop the link. Drop it. Drop it. Not your drawers. Drop it. Don't drop your drawers. I don't want to see none of that. And I dropped the link. Yes, I did. I think delving into our dark side, especially at times of angst, is important because we have to be able to bring the light and the dark together, those aspects of ourselves, to have things resonate more clearly in our life, to be able to have a better perspective of things, especially when things around us are kind of in flux all of the time. Let me tell you, I'm in life school 24/7. That's not a joke. I am in life school 24/7. Always trying to learn and figure things out and understand people. That's the most important thing, understanding people. Because if we don't try to understand each other, what are we doing? Lord knows if we're in relationships, if we're married, if we have kids, if we have good friends, is it not so important that we try to understand those we love and care about? If we blow them off and have a I'll get to you later mentality, just to focus on what's in front of us, what are we doing? And we're bringing the birthday girl up, Jenny. Hello, Jenny Pie.
Hi. Can you hear me?
You're a little low.
Okay, hold on. Is that better?
Yeah.
Really? Are you lying? Because I can't hear anything, so
Well,
I don't know.
I can hear you good now.
Okay.
I can hear you well. Good.
Hi, JC Bear. Thank you for helping.
Whoa, baby.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, we're like,
Okay.
So we should go, happy birthday to you.
okay.
Happy
Wait.
birthday
Well,
to
I'll do it
you.
together. Wait, we'll do it together.
Okay,
Somebody else
one.
want to wait. Somebody else want to come up so we can sing to her? Anybody?
Oh, come on. Can't just, I need something to offset the baritone voice.
Hey! Do you have a candle that you can blow out?
Wait. Oh, try not to.
Good. Okay, we'll sing. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy
Happy birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Happy
Happy birthday
birthday
to
to you.
you. Happy
Happy birthday,
birthday, dear
dear
Jenny.
Jenny. From London, Ontario. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to you.
you. Make a wish, make a wish, make a wish.
Woo!
Happy birthday,
Yay.
Jenny.
Happy birthday, Jenny!
Thank
Wishing you
you.
a fantastic year and all the best.
And a little bit of trouble. Fun trouble.
Yes.
If I talk in secret with
Which cupcake is that?
Ooh. Oh, so you saved the chocolate and the vanilla. What is your favorite flavor? Vanilla? So do you like blueberry vanilla or lemon vanilla? Any vanilla with a twist?
Jenny, maybe if you go down and come back, it'll stop.
That's what I'm going to try and do. I'll be back.
Okay.
Oh my God, that would be perfect for singing. It's like do 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 do. It has a diddle. I do have a good news article.
Okay, please.
Okay, I'm gonna have to share my screen.
Yeah.
And do. So 1 sec, I will share the screen. And this is from Toronto Together. I don't know. Let me know if you can see it.
I can see it down, but I can't see it up. Let's see. There. Okay, there it is.
There we go. So I'm just going to play a bit of it, and hopefully everybody can hear. I don't know if you're going to get a copyright strike, so I just stopped it around the 20 or 30-second mark.
Okay, so what are they giving? What are they doing exactly?
They're giving away baby food to parents who've had like a loss of income during COVID to help offset feeding like little ones. And she's challenging other businesses in the area that have the ability to join in and do the same.
Well, that's excellent. I love that.
So I'll stop sharing and come back in.
Okay.
I don't know, or maybe I can just let it finish. It's only 15 seconds left. There we go.
That's amazing. Uh-oh. Who did I knock
Oh,
off?
what happened? What happened to Queen Bee?
There she is.
Ah.
So how are you, Queen Bee?
I'm great. I really just came up just to wish Jenny a very happy birthday. I wanted to see if the little guy would smash one of those cupcakes, though. But
Oh, he got it good. He got two of them really good.
did he? Okay.
She put a video up. She put it on the table and turned away from 11 seconds because we sent her 6, and he had his hands in 2 of them really great. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, Dana, I'm just trying to understand what you were talking about. So vintage optimism was kind of helping me along as well as Jenny. So the shadow is like the very negative thoughts, I mean, to what extent are they the dark side? Like the
Well,
dark.
it's more about the shadow. We all have a shadow side and a light side. Let me put it like this, okay? We are born with the potential to go very dark. So, but as human beings, we have a shadow and a light side. There are aspects of ourselves that we don't like, that people have bullied us or called us names, or there have been traumatic things that have happened in our lives that we just want to forget, right? So we stuff them away, those memories or those bad things or whatever, in the shadow side of ourselves, and we try not to think about it, speak about it, or let it be a part of who we are. Although, essentially, it is a part of who we are. Does that make sense? But
So,
if
is it essentially like things that we don't want to face with? Like, I mean, let's put it this, like a victim. I won't specify what kind, but someone who is a victim of, let's say, a crime. Is it that negative experience that they had and trying to not come face to face with?
a victim of what?
Let's say just say a victim of a home invasion.
Okay.
So, obviously there's going to be fears that are suddenly built up and anxieties. And is it something that the shadow becomes a part of the shadow if we're not facing it? Like if we not to discuss it and just leave it as it was, but live in fear.
Yeah, if we just stuff it away, if we put it in our shadow, don't discuss it, don't confront it, don't look at it, if that becomes a part of our shadow, ultimately it can come out in places in our life, in our reactions to things, in our reactions to whether we trust people, in our relationships, etc., whether we want it to or not.
Okay, now I think I'm getting.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
It works on us unconsciously and affects our personality and different things, whether we want it to or not, because we didn't take the time to really process it. Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Just like if someone was abused younger or whatever, and they stuff it away in their shadow. Maybe they live a lifetime and they don't process it or they don't tease it away, and they build up a hard facade. Like they're tough and nobody can touch them and nobody can figure out why they can't have an intimate relationship with him. And I don't mean as in sex. I mean just as in a friendship or get close to the person, right? Because they've built up this facade. But underneath that facade is stuff they have not dealt with. So maybe this person lives a lifetime and they never get married or they never get close to anyone because they never dealt with that shadow stuff.
But now my question is like, doesn't that mean like essentially we all have a shadow though? We all carry
Yeah,
something?
yeah, we all have shadow. But whether we become healthy or whole, or we let it work to our benefit, we become a what's the word I'm looking for? A unified individual is whether we've done the work. Make sense? What degree of shadow is running our life, essentially?
Okay, so is like ultimately the goal is to be in balance with, like, you know, when you're giving us that image of yin yang, like
Right.
the goal is to be in like balance in between, or just completely in the way?
In balance, or more, either in balance or swinging more toward the light. But balance is great.
Okay.
Balance is humanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just don't want the shadow or the dark to be running your life.
Right.
And just a lot of people walk around with the shadow side running their life and not understanding why they're repeating certain patterns, they're attracting the same people, their life's not getting any better, they have bad luck. It's not bad luck, they're not doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
Is that clicking?
Mm-hmm. I think it's because, yeah, it is. I think it's because they're not dealing with the issue.
Right.
And there's always, because we all have something in our lives. And if you are leaning more to the dark side, it's you're I think it's more like everything's festering even.
And I like to call it the shadow, because dark, if you're all the way to the dark, then you don't care. You know what I mean?
Right.
But shadow, everybody's got the shadow. But it's like this to me, right? If there's a snake in the grass that keeps following you and biting your leg, but you refuse to look down to see the snake in the grass, you're going to have the same problem.
Right.
That's essentially it. And, you know, like with the shadow, for instance, people worry about this. They call it looking at their demons. And you can call it that, but it just feels, when you say that, it feels harsh and hard. Now, some people need to look at it that way because it is rough.
Right.
Hey, Jenny.
Yeah, I get how vintage optimism was explaining it. That's why I was just kind of a little lost, so I needed some guidance as to, you know, what exactly, like I got the theory, the yin and yang, but I just couldn't, like, because to me, I was like, well, we all have shadows then. So.
Yeah, we do. We all have the yin and the yang. But demons, maybe your demons are if there are harsher things going on in your life. Mm-hmm. Shadow work to me is we all have shadow. But maybe a lot of your great things are in your shadow. Maybe you put a lot of your talent in your shadow, because maybe you grew up and people said, oh, you can't sing. But you really can. But people were negative in your family, or they were jealous, or they were whatever, and said, oh, you can't sing. So you threw it in a bag, you threw it in your shadow, and didn't look at it again. But when you start teasing things apart and you test the waters, people that are more objective or loving are like, wow, you can sing. Why didn't I know that? Why aren't you doing that? That's what I mean about you may have gifts in your shadow that you don't even know about. Or things you put on the shelf when you were a small child because you didn't get the support you needed. Or you didn't get attagirl or attaboy or whatever. So you stuck it in the shadow. That's why people, it's to your benefit to do shadow work, because you don't know what's in that bag. Does that make sense?
Completely now.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And there may be things in there that when you pick them apart, you get your aha moment because you are more adult now, or you're more aware now. So things that were haunting you or didn't make sense, you finally put the pieces together, and now you have peace about something. That's why it's just so important to try to become introspective in your life and take time sometimes to dig a little deeper.
Yeah. For me, I had not actually heard. Can you guys hear me on my phone now? Is this okay?
Oh, yes, great.
Oh, good, because that was driving me crazy and my computer just turned itself off, so I gave up. For me, it was last July. I literally saw it on YouTube, just like you guys are probably watching right now. Somebody put up about shadow work, and I'm like, I thought I didn't really know what the term was. I thought I knew what the term was, and for me, it was the beginning of my path to self-discovery. And then you're opening yourself up to self-love, because now you've actually opened up those wounds and looked at yourself and all those things you don't want to look at. And actually, I wrote I just wrote everything down that I would not want someone to know about myself. And I said, now this is what I need to focus on, because this is what I'm not looking at. This is what I'm looking away from. And then that's what I mean. I just feel like you just start to love yourself when you really start to look it right in the face. It's challenging. It's very challenging. You're going to have a lot of ups and downs, and I'm still looking at that shadow side, but it's so worth it to discover why things are the way they are. But to really find your purpose, you have to see what your weaknesses are and what your strengths are.
And I know what part of my shadow work is, and it sounds crazy. I grew up wanting to be a peacekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
And not
No, you don't say, Dana.
and not wanting there to be drama and chaos. So when there's really no resolution, and I have to walk away from something, Jenny knows it drives me crazy. I drive me crazy because I'm like, I can't believe this is happening, or trying to figure out why, and don't want it to be that way. And here I am, come from a background of psychology, and I still angst over things. That is part of my shadow, and I recognize that's the hard part. I recognize it. I still need to work on it. I'm this age, I'm a psychotherapist, I recognize it, and I still need to work on it. And it has so much to do with the way I was raised and what I saw in my family of origin. And I was the peacekeeper kid, the one that didn't want the chaos and the drama, the one that was like, oh no, I have to do something. Right? And it's just not always possible. And sometimes you have to do what's right for you instead of sucking it up. That's hard. Jenny knows that feeling, don't you, Jen?
Yeah.
I mean, as kids, or am I wrong? The feeling of having to suck things up. How many in the chat know that feeling? Grew up where you just felt like you had to suck it up and be the good kid.
Oh God, yeah.
and just had to obey and wanted everything to be okay.
But I feel like that's how it ends up in our shadow, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Bingo. That's how all my stuff ended up in my shadow. I used to, don't get me wrong, I love my parents. My father is gone now. They have done the best they know how to do. You know, that your parents inherit from their parents. They don't always do, I'm not making excuses. Parents don't always do the right things. Even bad parents inherit from their parents. Even bad parents have, and I'm not saying my parents were bad, but they didn't always do the right things.
No.
They did the best they knew how. But when I hear about how their parents did things, they inherited from their parents. They tried to do better, but a lot of it was the time they grew up in, right?
Yep.
My parents spanked with belts.
Yep.
I didn't spank with belts.
Yeah. Or you had to get your own switch from outside.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
And so I can remember getting a small switch thinking it wouldn't hurt.
It's
Wrong.
wrong.
It hurts worse. Right? Nowadays, parents do that stuff, they might be arrested.
Oh, yeah.
It's a different world. But then, a lot of parents did that.
Yeah.
It was not unheard of. But it's so different, and it makes you a different kid because at that time when parents did it, it made you fearful kids.
Mm-hmm.
It made me a fearful kid.
Oh, yeah.
I did not want that. Now, there were times, like if my dad had a soft heart. He didn't want to do it. He'd sit there and lecture you for 40 minutes, which was worse.
Worse. Worse.
I was like, beat me? Please beat me.
Yeah.
But that stuff goes in your shadow. It does go in your shadow.
That's right.
So it's a flip for us because a lot of, I can't speak for Jenny, a lot of my life, and I'm not saying my life's bad now, it's not. I like a lot of how I turned out now. It took me a long time to get to a lot of places that I like about myself. Took probably longer than it will take my daughter.
Yes.
Because she can communicate with me.
Right. And things like your show and conversations, honest conversations people have now. Like we didn't know the word narcissist, and that was my cat. And gaslighting. We didn't know these terms. We didn't know what they were. And so now when you're aware of the fact that you can be easily manipulated, you're looking out for it. Where we really weren't looking out for it. Back, honestly,
No.
I mean, we've become so much more enlightened, and we just keep progressing. It's progress. I always say progress is a process, but yeah.
Am I a perfect parent? No, I'm not.
We're human.
But when I become aware that I have made a mistake, I apologize.
Yeah.
My parents never apologized because that is not how they were made. Their parents were not made like that.
Right.
We're becoming more evolved.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping whatever she learned from me, she becomes more evolved and in turn creates more evolved children. Spiritually, emotionally, mentally.
Yeah.
So that is how our world will become more evolved. It's on us.
Yeah.
So going back to the shadow, I felt it was like super, super important, painful, not painful, to dig in it, to pull out things and look at these things. It's an ongoing process, but you would be amazed, even the things you dig out and have to tease apart. You will get answers. You will look at things, even if they're painful, that make you more woke.
Yeah.
That's the word of the year. More woke, that will solve problems that you didn't know you had, that will give you aha moments, that will give you moments of forgiveness. Give you moments of forgiveness towards your own family of origin, and grace about things you were stuffing away or negativity towards them, that will free you.
Give yourself some grace and patience, forgiveness.
It's about freeing yourself. All that junky stuff in your shadow, that's the stuff that brings you depression, anxiety, that brings you addiction, that brings you a multitude of other things, because you're carrying it around unbeknownst and in your unconscious, and it's heavy. And your body wants to go lighter, figuratively and literally. And you can get the support you need. I'm here. I'll always answer you. We're here for a reason in here, right? But you can do a lot of the work yourself because you lived it. You lived it. And it's not going to be worse twice. Does that make sense? Once you've lived it, it's not going to be bad the second time looking at it, because you're digging it out, looking at it like an old photo.
Yeah.
And if it is something that's rubbing you the wrong way, then it's telling you, hey, this is what's causing you problems.
Yeah.
So get some help.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a cue here. This is what's going to help you dig out. So I'm just saying, don't sell yourself short. Like Vintage says, I suffer with addiction. That's my dark side. Every day I have to conquer my negativity, but I use it to motivate my art. In her darkness is her lightness, is her gift. She found her gift in it. I'm praying. I don't know what kind of addiction she has. I'm praying that her addiction is under control. I don't know what kind it is.
There's that saying that once you've accepted your flaws, no one can use them against you.
Exactly. Once you're aware of them.
Yeah.
I mean, some people joke about them before anybody can throw it at them.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. Yanni says, and kids with narcissistic parents tend to learn the same behavior. It takes a lot of work not to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
Well, some kids with narcissistic parents specifically go in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because they're so aware of what they're watching and how it made them feel, that they try to do it differently. Adam says, and please forgive me, I'm not knocking all mental health professionals here, but my dad was a psychologist, and he's a toxic, narcissistic monster. I am so sorry to hear that, Adam. But I'm not I can't talk. I'm not a toxic narcissistic monster. Everybody that's in the medical or mental health field is not one. Unfortunately, you just ended up with a dad that treats you like that. I am so sorry.
And that's why when you're seeking help, you do really want to try different options, because you have to find the one that suits you and clicks with you. I mean, there are people, we're all human. There are psychologists that are toxic, narcissistic monsters. I mean, one time I was going to Wendy's with my mom and I had a shirt that was low. It was summertime. It was just a tank top. And she literally came out and yelled at me and said my shirt was too low. And she goes, I know you. I'm a psychologist. And I was like, in my mind, I'm thinking, then you probably should know that you don't know me, but everyone, everywhere, you're going to find the good and the bad. So just keep looking until you find the right fit for you.
Oh, Adam, thank you. You said, Danny, you're the best. I'm taking you out of that equation. Thank you so much, Adam.
Yeah.
Bless your heart, though. I hear the pain. I don't know your voice, but let me say, I feel the pain when I read your words. And Yanni says, I try very hard because I can see I have narcissistic tendencies because both of my parents were narcissistic, different types of narcissistic. And she says, I can see that, Adam, not all in the education in the world is enough to change a person. I can see a psychologist that already went in that direction on purpose to feel superior. And Adam says, my dad would always embarrass me and humiliate me in public. Well, we all have to deal with different things. And, yeah, it can be bad. I mean, I have someone in my life, as much as I love them, I will not name names. When I was going to I know I slipped the other day and said that I have MS. I have MS. I'm very functional. Nobody give me any pity. I might forget a word here and there. I'm not drunk. Let me just say that. That's why I forget a word here and there, because I have MS. I'm not drunk. I don't drink. Twice a year, maybe. New Year's Eve, anniversary. Anyway, along the way when I was getting diagnosed, they had to do 1,000,000 tests on me. And one of the tests, they were testing me for Sjogren's or something, and it's where you get dry mouth and all this stuff, which I do, but I don't have Sjogren's. And they cut these things out of your lip to send to a lab to test for Sjogren's. My mom went with me because it really hurts when they cut inside of your lip to take some of the cells out. And she was making a joke, says, I'm pretty sure she's a hypochondriac. As they're cutting stuff out of my lip. And they're cutting me, and I'm looking at her like, are you completely crazy? Right? My own mother, after I had been through HELL and back for 15 years, with them trying to, put a finger on it. They had not done the final test for MS. They do when they're looking for MS, they try to rule out everything else first. That's how it goes. So they put you through all these batteries. Ultimately, they found it when I had an eye test, believe it or not. Then they put me through all the MS things. I said it was my mother, didn't I? It was my mother. My own mother. And you're going, what? Who are you to say that about me? You said you were coming to support me. And then when they finally gave the diagnosis, she just looked at me. Then she was, feeling bad and embarrassed. She was embarrassed, didn't want anybody to know I had it. Now, embarrassed. Now, what sense does that make? Jenny's looking at me dumbfounded. What can you say about that, right?
It's just that we always are learning that, like you said, we think our parents are perfect, and they're human, and once you realize that they make mistakes and that caused some of your problems, and you don't have to blame yourself for some of your problems. You don't blame them. It's just the situation. They were brought into your life. The lesson was for a reason, and it's
you get highly disappointed though when you have your own children and you think, in a million years I can never do that to my own child.
Right. Exactly. And that's when you change and break the
cycle.
But exploring that has got to be so difficult, like to delve that deep. I mean, I know, like, I've recently started on my own therapy journey, but it's painful for me. It's exhausting. I feel like I've, can't come out of a boxing ring kind of thing.
It's hard work.
And it can take a long time. Some people call it the dark night of the soul. Like it's the only good thing about it is when you come out on the other side, you're just such a more peaceful person, I guess I could say. I mean, I had narcissistic tendencies too. My father was very much so, and I really had to identify that. And actually, when you were speaking earlier, Dana, I remembered something that my late husband Pete said when I was pregnant, and I was so worried. And this is one of the only pieces of advice I actually recall getting from him about Billy, because he never got a chance to actually meet or raise Billy himself, was I have really high expectations of myself. So I really set high standards for myself and kind of set high expectations of others. And sometimes that means that people disappoint you. So I said, what if I set these high expectations for Billy? Like, I don't want to do that to him. And Pete's response was, and I'll never forget it, he goes, the fact that you are aware that that this could be an issue, or that this is something you struggle with, means that you're already going to be okay. So I think that's just, the awareness is huge. Sometimes it's really hard to face, but you'll get to the other side and you'll feel just so much more at peace.
Yeah.
And I mean, you'll never get there. I feel like it's a lifelong journey, right? Really. But you'll always, it's just a good feeling.
I see, on the flip side of that, my dad was not perfect. He had his own issues, but they were not like my mom's.
Right.
So when he was dealing with me, he was like a teddy bear. They were like, they had their own issues separate, but when he was dealing with me, he was like a teddy bear. So it was like a yin and yang thing, right? And he 100% believed in me, which was like a saving grace. So I think my heart is more like his, but it was helpful to me to be able to step back and look at things.
Yeah.
And see them as human beings and not look at them as my parents for a minute. So I could love them where they were at.
Yep.
Aside from their problems. So I could forgive the problems and love them as souls.
Yeah.
Because it was too painful to just dismiss them from my life. I had no reason to completely dismiss them. It's complicated. It's complicated. because sometimes you switch roles.
Yep. That's why we're here and put in each other's lives. And
there's times I have to. My mom is. I love her. She's smart. She's beautiful. She can be narcissistic. It's hard for me to say that. So afraid she's gonna find my videos one day. You know what I mean?
So, Dana, when you say like people, like narcissists, for example, do they do they carry the same weight? Like, and I don't want to say as like regular as regular people, but
they don't see they don't see their shadows.
oh,
They don't think they have shadows.
that's the difference, is the humility factor, I feel like, because you're just completely unaware that you even are this huge narcissist.
They think they're more light all the time.
Yeah.
Every day.
Always right. Yeah.
Whereas people that are striving, that are more like light workers, right? They realize they have shadow, but they know that they have jobs to help others. If you come to Earth as a human being, like I said, if you haven't left Earth and gone somewhere else, you still have a job to do. You're not perfect, which means you still have problems. You still have shadow work. If you're pure, you won't be here.
That's a good point.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
Babies are pure. They come here pure. They're going to be here because they're babies. In my opinion. But as you grow up, you get indoctrinated by people and the earth and everything that's going on around you. And there are lessons to be learned, things to do, right? Experiences to have, choices to be made. Every choice you make, small or big, creates a domino effect. And it's either going to bring more light to your life or shadow.
Yeah, that's right.
And there is a old parable. We all have the ability to go really dark. Me, you.
Yeah.
And when I mean dark, I mean dark, evil. We all have that ability to go there. I mean, let's put it, if someone was about to hurt my daughter, I wouldn't need a weapon. I would kill their ass, with my bare hands. I am capable. I'm physically capable, MS or not. I'm very functional. I've taken judo. I got muscle memory. Somebody's trying to hurt my kid. The adrenaline would pump. I would probably do damage. Jenny probably would do damage if somebody was hurting her kid. I mean, really, moms. If somebody's trying to hurt your baby, there is no telling what you would do to that person. You would probably put more damage on them than if they were trying to hurt yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the truth.
Oh, yeah.
So you could probably kill him. You'd go to the dark side real quick trying to save your kid. You don't know what you would do in times like that.
I can honestly say there was a point after Pete died that I don't know when it was. There was a point where I felt like I was looking it right in the face, going, okay, I'm either going to make a choice right now and just get real dark or get real light. And I went the right way. There was a moment where I felt like it was that, where you really actually relate to Darth Vader and you're like, I get this guy for a minute. You know what I mean? And you have to actually face that. Otherwise, you don't know what you're made of.
I mean, with my first husband, I try hard to work on myself all the time and go to a place of light. to be a servant leader.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, my first husband pushed me to the brink. He was abusive, emotionally abusive primarily, but he could get physically. He pushed me to the brink so far, I told him he better hide the knife set. I kid you not. Because I was scared to death I might use it on him.
Wow.
I was scared to death I might get to the point of using it on him or myself for that matter. Because I was to the point I was trying to figure out how to get out of that marriage in one piece.
Yeah.
And I knew if he didn't hide it, something in me might get desperate enough to just grab it and do something. And I did not want to do that. That's when you know something is going to that shadow side, and that was something that was in my shadow I needed to cope with quick. And it just tells you we are all capable of swinging on that pendulum. So it's super, super important we get to know ourselves in a very genuine way. And I go, ooh, I'm good. Baby, no, you're not. Baby, no, you're not. Dive into it. Find what your gifts are and use them. See where they take you. And pick apart the other things and find your answers. And get to know who you really, really are. Because you will look different. When you look in that mirror, you will look different to you. You will see a whole different side to yourself that you never saw before when you're looking into your eyes. And maybe you'll find peace. And maybe you'll meet a whole new person. And maybe new doors will open up because when you meet other people, they will experience somebody different. Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe the person they experience now is depressed or full of angst, or you don't know what energy you're bringing to the table. Or maybe your ego's too big, or you're cocky. It's like, who are you bringing? Who's coming to the party? What mask are you wearing? Don't you want to take it off?
Yeah.
What, Jenny?
I do. That's what I felt like. I feel like everyone's wearing this mask and we need to take our masks off. I mean, literally, well, we are wearing masks because of it's COVID.
Yeah.
But I mean, and that's not helping matters because you can't even tell if you're smiling. And you have to see someone for who they genuinely are.
Yeah.
And you have to be who you really are, or else nobody's gonna ever be reveal themselves, feel comfortable to be themselves around you either.
And there's nothing worse than, I don't have to worry about it now, but dating somebody.
God.
And they act a certain way the first few, and then you get real serious, and then it's like, surprise. Right?
Yeah.
There's nothing like you thought.
Yeah. And JC Bear said that before, I think on your show or on or maybe Shan's show even, about dating. Like, you have to be legit yourself. If you're on a dating website, which I've never been on a dating website, but I think if I was, I would be just legit. Like, this is me. This is what you're gonna get. This is the bad stuff. Because I don't have time for you to find out 6 months later and you don't like that.
But it's also being authentic in what you want.
Exactly, because you're not
what
going to
you
get
deserve.
what you want unless you are honest about what you want. So figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why when my friends had me put mine up, I was like, okay, this is me. This is what I do for a living. I have a special needs son. You know, I'm not playing games. I'm
Yeah.
not a booty call.
Yeah.
I mean, I was no like, hey, honey, I'm just this, and I weigh this, and I'm interested. No.
Right. It's like, and I want flowers on my birthday.
And I know I've been silent because I've been listening to all your stories and reading in the chat. And I'm just grateful in my own life that I was able to have those adult conversations with my parents before they passed on.
Oh, yeah.
About things. This when I was far more bolder in my 20s and independent, that I wasn't dependent on them, where I actually got to sit down with them, not like father to son or mother to son, but as person to person, and ask them why they did stuff or why they were like that, to find out more about how they were raised.
Yeah.
And that gave me a lot more understanding in how I was brought up, and maybe some of the crazy things I've seen them do or say. And I just found that far more, it was like I was at peace with a few things.
Yeah.
It just made it easier for myself to understand where they were coming from, as opposed to having that kind of mystery or unknown. It's like, why did you say that? Or why were we restricted like that? Or so it helped me, but I don't know if anybody else has had that type of opportunity. And some parents are not open to discussing how they were raised, so you never really get those answers.
Yeah.
I think I had something a little bit similar, not fully open conversation, but my father, before he died, he did have a near-death experience 2 years before he died, which changed him. So I saw a significant change in what he prioritized and his values and just his whole outlook on family and life. And I was just constantly like, who is this person? So it really helped me, kind of put into perspective what really would have mattered at the end of his life, what he really had to say. So it really is important that you had those conversations. That's really a blessing.
I was able to have, my dad, as he got a little, he was good about it sometimes because I worked for him a little bit, but especially as he got older, when we would have times together, he would talk to me and say, some uplifting things to me, and he would apologize for certain things that happened, even if he wasn't responsible for them. And he would try to explain why he thought certain things would happen from another person, and that was very helpful.
Yeah.
And my mom, sometimes we'll sit down. It's rare, but I have gotten an apology about something. And she will talk about certain things. So there's little breakthroughs here and there, So sometimes you just have to think about, they were children too.
Yes.
They had wounds too.
Yes.
You don't always have to forget, but it's easier to forgive and give a little grace, because I don't want to walk around with victim mentality.
Victim consciousness? Yeah, no.
And I don't want to walk around with a glass half empty feeling. I can't, look, sorry, good, bad, or indifferent, that suffocates me. I can't walk around with that energy all the time because it makes me feel like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to get to a place where I can breathe and get rid of that angst. It doesn't do anybody any good. And once you start trying to say, okay, I can't fix any of that, I can only work on myself. How can I build myself up? How can I heal some of these wounds and look for my own gifts and try to get the most out of my life instead of living in pain all the time. It's baby steps, but it's helpful, right?
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say earlier too, is baby steps. Like, never underestimate the value of a baby step, because think about it. Like, I just picture two ladders. Like, one has like 4 steps and one has like 80. Like, the 4, you can't even reach the 4 steps because they're so far apart, you know, like you're jumping, hurdling. Just take the baby steps and get there. Slow and steady wins the race.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I wanted this community, right? If I can help educate you, if I can help give you tools for your toolbox so you can better understand some things, and then when you walk away from here, try to do some of the work yourself, right?
Yeah.
And like Jenny says, the ladder, baby steps. Don't look at the million steps. Look at the steps you're taking for yourself. Inspire your own life. Then it makes a difference. It does make a difference. Honestly.
Yeah.
Don't swim in tragedy every day, because you'll drown. Right? Reach out for somebody's hand. I know that it's hard to trust sometimes, but you really, really have to use your gut. And sometimes you have to take a leap of faith. Everybody's not evil and wicked. You know? And, you know, it's like Adam talks about. Adam, I don't know if you know, there are some good private groups on Facebook, especially for support for certain things people are going through. Some really good ones. I don't know if Jenny approached any, but I know this is a different thing. But when I lost Noah, I found 2 awesome support groups that I'm still connected to. So I know that there are some for what you're going through that people have had to experience that will help you. And this group, of course. But I'm talking about more of an everyday thing so you can connect with people that have had the same experience, primarily guys, for that matter. Because I know ladies aren't always going to be as helpful. Yeah, Yanni says we're all broken. That's true. In some way, we're all broken. Now, if I'd come on here acting like I'm the expert, I've got all the answers, nothing's ever happened to me, y'all would be like, go on, bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
I never want to learn from someone who thinks they're perfect, because then there's something wrong with them.
Yeah. Was it Margie said she once jumped out of a moving car? Once jumped out of a moving car. Talking about a bad day. Yes, Johnny says, we're here for you, Adam. She says, you're right, when you can't trust your parents, the people you should be able to trust the most in the world. It does affect you being able to trust people in the outside world. Sometimes your family is not your family of origin. You choose your family.
Yeah.
You go out in the world, you choose your family. Maybe your friends. It may be, I had a lady in the other city I lived in. She was like my second mom. She passed away, but she was literally like my second mother. You know, there were people coming in my life that was like, she was like my sister, she was like my second mother. People just turn into your family. So when we go through these rough things, when we're looking into our shadow, when we're going through hard places in our life, when we feel, I imagine that Adam, the sense again, you tell me if I'm wrong, Adam, in a lot of ways you feel paralyzed in your life. I don't know what you do for a living. I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't know what you look like. I get a sense, but it just feels like you feel like you're paralyzed in your life. And that you just kind of don't know what direction to go in. Now, going back to the shadow work, Pink Sam says, oh, she says she's sorry that she's going through. She's sending her another hug. I'm so happy Pink Sam is in here. I always love to see new names. Um, what do you think about shadow work, JC Bear?
What do I think? I think it's the way you explained it. I had a very different concept of what it was compared to listening to you and Jenny and the people in the chat. I think it's personally a good thing because you can access either buried away talents that you'd forgotten about, other types of energy that you can actually take in and use for your own benefit. And it's given me a couple of things to actually go back into to actually see that I may have forgotten about, that I've remembered a few things here as you guys were talking. So you never know, you may see my name in lights in the future. But I mean, yeah, I had a very different concept, but I'm understanding it more. And it's given me a couple of things to think about.
What was your concept of it?
I thought it was more on like your very darker side, darker emotions, like the anger and temper, those type of items. But when you guys were talking about, things that you did as a child that you did with joy, like for me, I love swimming, I love photography, I loved all that type of stuff. And I kind of pushed all that away. Suddenly, you're getting into the social world and then, studying for college, doing jobs, all the other things, and all that stuff got pushed away because it was only, it's just a hobby. It's just, that's just fun time. You have to put that stuff away and concentrate on, building your future and all that. So you put all that stuff aside. So as you guys were explaining it more, I started thinking, I really used to love doing that. I really used to love, sitting, trying to get the perfect landscape shot or stuff like that. And those were things that made me feel good. So it's given me a lot more things to think about to kind of explore and kind of bring back in and incorporate back in to my own life. So,
I mean, it can be your anger and stuff like that too. It just depends on what the individual is stuffing in that shadow. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I was just listening and thinking about it like we've only, been through it for an hour, so you got to give me a little more time. But it just, it just triggered something like, when I think back, yeah, I used to love doing this, or I used to be really good at that. And I kind of like was either told, well, that's a great hobby, but you can't make a living at it. So just, push that aside and concentrate on something else, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what people stuff in their shadow.
Yeah, so I just so I got to do more thinking, a little more delving, and then who knows?
You can make your life richer and more balanced if you do your shadow work. That's what I was talking about. There are some things that it might be a little painful, but you might come to a better understanding of who you are and why you respond the way you do about some things, or why you get triggered about some things.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Like, you may have some things about certain individuals that trigger you and you're like, I don't know what it is, but I just can't.
Exactly.
This person, every time I'm around them, I just can't. It's not, you might go, they're nice and everything, but I just can't.
Yeah, I mean, that comes from, early hurts and slights that you kind of push down, and all of a sudden that person, because there's similar traits or similar looks, can trigger that response in you.
Or they project something to you, that's in your shadow.
Ah,
Mm.
true. Something that you may not like about yourself and you're seeing in real life.
That's that you stuff down in your shadow. That's a part of your shadow somehow.
True. That takes a little more digging.
Hmm. It's either part of your shadow or an opposite part of you, right?
Okay.
An aspect of you that's like an opposite. So you're like, it gets really interesting, you know?
Yeah, and that takes a lot more time to really kind of explore and really just kind of think back and go through exactly what happened in the past and exactly why is it been buried and how to actually deal with it if you're going to bring it to the forefront of your mind.
Right. But that's why it's very helpful for people if they just have like a basic notebook or a journal or something. You don't have to write your history. But if you have like some kind of odd thought or something triggers you during the day or something feels projective with another person or something just interesting, you can just write it down like a small paragraph in your
True.
journal for the day. And then, as the month goes by or whatever, reflect on that month. And that is part of looking into your shadow too. So
True.
that you can kind of look at it and assess what you're seeing as the big picture or what story it's telling you.
True. It's kind of like you can keep a log, a little daily log of what's actually bringing things out or triggering or so forth. And then at the end of the month, you kind of look through it and you can probably define a pattern as to what's going on, and that'll let you get a little deeper.
Yeah, it's like stealing your roommate's journal and trying to read through it to see what you can figure out,
That's
right?
I have a daily planner and I like make myself, and I even put like like it's got a section where I'm like, what was the lessons I learned today? What were the synchronicities I saw today or the things? And when I look back at the week and the month, it's like, oh wow, and I see a big like theme of like the lessons I was going through at the time.
Adam said he's scared. He said, I'm in my early 50s and it's hard and scary, and people treat people who are older like crap. He's not wrong.
Ageism is a real thing.
It is a very real thing.
Well, yes. And I don't know, maybe I've just been lucky that I've run through, people within a variety of age groups that I haven't felt that.
I've seen it in the workplace. I'm human resources, and I've seen it so much, and it's unfortunate.
I'm putting 2 links down, Adam. One is outschool.com. You just have to have a passion for something, or you don't have to have a degree for that particularly, but if you have a skill or a passion for something, you can create your curriculum, the time you want to teach, and how much you want to charge. And parents will sign their kids up. Let's say you know how to, I don't know, what do guys do?
Fish. I don't know.
Woodwork,
Yeah, woodwork. Cook.
how to carve, whatever, right?
Yeah, they play video games.
Or video games.
Video games, how to do computer work, tech work, whatever. You can create classes and teach students on OutSchool, and like I said, create how much you want to charge, etc. And teach on there until you find a job. Of course, you have to go through the process, and I can help you. VIP Kid, you have to have a college degree for that. You have to go through the process of getting hired too, and I can help you. and you get paid an average of $18 to $20 per half hour. So if either one of those interests you, I can help you. Otherwise, I can't help you.
But to your point, Jenny, I've always been more worried about the interviews
Yeah,
when it comes to ageism.
I know.
But I've been, like I said, knock wood, very lucky. My boss is half my age. I get along with her like a house on fire. And so like I said, I've been lucky. But yeah, I do understand it is scary out there for interviewing, switching jobs, especially when you get to a certain age range.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how you're going to be received, and people have preconceived ideas that, oh, you're not going to know this because you're from that generation, or you're perceived as from that generation.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. I've just been thankful. Maybe my guardian angels have been looking out for me.
My husband was out of job for a year. He did look up and get an IT executive job, but he also looked into a lot of anything as an independent contractor. Uber Eats, doing, not Uber Eats, yeah, I guess Uber Eats. Uber, there's also those apps where you can do all kinds of jobs that people need. I mean, it's the time of doing independent whatever until you can find what you need, unfortunately or fortunately, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to charge out on your own and do something until something that you need comes along. I don't know, Adam, what your background is, so I think you told me, but I can't remember. Finish, did you actually apply, or did you just check it out? Anyway, yes, it makes it difficult. That's another thing that goes into our shadow. You know, when we get all of these feelings about things, it's always going to be something. He said, I did foster care for children and adults in our family home for 30 years. And I had a business which I provided services for seniors and veterans. I don't understand what happened. How did that shut down if you were doing the providing? You have to have a really big heart if you did all that. That is great. Foster care. We need that in our community. But does anybody in the chat have questions about the shadow side of things? Everybody's like, no. They're like, this was
you
retired.
You did simplify it really well for me, so I'm sure a lot of people understand it now.
But good. I hope that people can see why it might be important and why you might make more self-discoveries. It's my theory that I do not care how old you get. Keep learning.
Yes, learning, lifelong learning.
Keep trying new things.
Yeah.
Don't stop. I'm not going to stop. You're gonna see me keep doing the craziest things until I get too old and they put a diaper on me. But it was what less of the original group of people that were hired for a national social services agency. Adam, can't you put your own ad out there and say that you are available to help take care of people? There are different kinds of meditations. What would you recommend as far as how to maintaining your dark side? Maintaining your dark side?
Not maintaining.
What the hell? What drugs are you on, Vintage Optimism? You're in the wrong damn group. Sorry.
Containing it, maybe. I don't know.
Did you mean containing it?
No. I think vintage meant exactly what she meant.
She is so funny.
Vintage, I'm going to write down July 15th as the end of planting season. And as somebody who grew up in an Italian household, I know when it ends. So then I'm going to hold you to the next step.
Lord have mercy. Contain to maintain. Look, girl, you need to get on the meditations with the highest megahertz. The highest ones you can find, and then talk to me. But anyway, I hope that this was a good discussion for all of you guys. Tonight was Wednesday education night. Oh, and by the way, I did hear a good story. I've got to learn how to share. But this little boy at one of the schools noticed that one of the kids' shoes was just like torn up, holes in the bottom. Oh, Eden said, "Happy birthday, Jenny. She loves you too."
Hi, Eden.
But his tennis shoes were torn up, holes in the bottom. You know how they get flapped in the front and everything? He had extra shoes that were almost like new. He brought them for his friend. So then he decided to clean up some of his extra tennis shoes that were in good condition and decided he was going to give them to other kids that needed them. So he started rolling with the kids at school. So they started collecting money and collecting shoes that were either new they hadn't worn or like new, and started just a drive to get shoes to kids. And then they decided they were going to do a 365, meaning that every kid was going to make a point every single day to do an act of goodness every single day, 365 days a year. And it didn't have to do with money necessarily. Either they were going to give something away, do something out of the kindness of their heart, buy something for someone in need, but they were never going to fail to do at least one act of kindness every single day, because they wanted it to be a domino effect. So I'm on a mission for myself. You can join me if you want to do a 365er, starting on Miss Jenny's birthday.
Ooh, Miss Jenny. Was that Vincent? Not Vincent.
What now?
I hear kitty cat.
That's Victor.
Victor. Sorry, I called him Vincent.
He hears us, and that's through a door.
Oh my.
He's loud.
And he's big.
He's a big black. He looks like a panther.
I have a lion. Mine's a lion.
So think about it for yourself if you can remember. But on Miss Jenny's birthday, that way I remember, I'm going to start a 365er for myself. So I'm going to try. I'm not going to try it. I'm going to do it. Some form of an act of kindness every single day, at least one.
Oh, do it. Yeah.
It was easier when we weren't in lockdown, Jenny.
Oh, but let's do it.
It can be somebody online. You did an act
true.
of kindness for me today, trying to help me find a bakery.
Yeah, me. I got the cupcakes.
It can be
That's
that
true.
It can be that small.
What was the bakery? Can we talk about the smell of these cupcakes? They smell so good.
It was sugar, sweet, and something.
It was sugar.
I'm gonna go back.
Sugar Bowl Bakery.
Oh, they know what they're doing. They have
One moment. Sugar Bowl Bakery, and it's on 954 Leathorn Street.
I'll have to look
Unit
it
6.
up.
Okay.
I don't think it's Sugar Bowl.
Yep, Sugar Bowl Bakery.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Sugar bowl. I like that. I call Billy Sugar Britches. Like I'm from the South.
So
I
what'd
was
you do?
looking.
Sorry.
I was looking at the Italian bakery and then I seen tiramisu cake
Okay.
and cannoli cake and a few of the other things, and I'm like, oh my god, if I was Billy, I'd face plant in that if that was opened in a box. And then you posted the one with the cupcakes, and I thought, yeah, the cupcakes was probably a better option.
Yeah.
Gosh, I literally I like post this picture on my story to be like, look at my cupcakes. I turn around, I'm like, the cupcakes are smashed. And he was like on the couch in like a second. He climbed off the couch and was like in those. So, oh, it made my day. I laughed so hard after.
What did he do with all the icing?
He had him in, that was a mess. That was fun. We cleaned that up. Threw him in the tub.
Did he eat any of it?
He ate a little bit, but I didn't let him have very much.
And what did you learn today, Jenny?
Never turn your back on this baby.
Put it up high.
I thought I had to worry about the dog, but no, not the dog. He's like, the baby's eating all the cupcakes.
Oh, by the way, it would be a good time to put a high lock on your doors. Deadbolt.
Okay.
Do you remember me telling you that Eden woke up?
Oh, yeah. Oh, heavens, Eden.
And she was like 18 months old.
Yeah.
Slid the door to the chair. To the chair to the door. Put books on it. Put my high heels on it. Climbed on top. Stood in the high heels. Unlocked the door. Got out of the house. And went walking down the road in our neighborhood.
Goodness. I'm like putting deadbolts on the doors for sure.
Yeah. We had to get them up high where you had to use the key to unlock them. Oh, yeah.
Well, all you have to do is hide a cupcake somewhere in the kitchen, and he'll stay in the kitchen.
Like, they smell so good. I'm just like, I'm gonna like, as soon as we're done, I'm like eating these, like both of them.
You could have eaten them while we were listening.
No, because like I will get drowsy and get like so happy with the sugar rush.
Do you know that food does that to me too?
Yeah.
Like if I go all day and I haven't eaten, and then I eat something, I will get so sleepy.
Yeah, I'll fall asleep. I'll be like gone. It's like a alcohol for most people.
I'm no fun.
I'm like, just give me a chocolate cupcake.
You at least have to take a bite. You at least have to take a bite.
Yeah, take a bite, Jenny.
You don't have to tell me.
Happy birthday to you. Oh,
To you,
happy
to
birthday
you,
to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I'm like drooling. I can't keep eating. I'm gonna start drooling.
Drooling?
Yeah, it's so good. You don't even know.
Well, take take some of the icing. For me, it's all about the icing.
We've had some icing today.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat this chocolate one because this is the one that smells like really good.
There, now you know. Now you made the Italian on the panel happy. Okay, now you've eaten something.
Oh, it looks good too.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. Have you guys ever heard of the foodgasm?
Yes.
I didn't mean to do that. I never.
Like that moment where it's just so good.
Oh my God. And I know that they can't deliver to Toronto, so enjoy it for me.
Oh man, some of their cakes look so good.
Yeah.
They had citrus cake. That looked good.
That's good.
But I did not know what kind of cake you like. And I thought, I'm not going to ask her because then she'll know what I'm doing.
I don't know if I met a cake I didn't like, but
Yep.
I like cake. I'm
There's
not
no such thing.
But
There's no such thing as a bad cake. You just cut off the burnt part from the bottom, and you just icing over it.
but cupcakes are perfect because you get to try so many different ones, and
Yep.
it's like,
Like I
love
took
them.
a bite of the chocolate, like I'm definitely gonna take a bite of the white one next.
But this is from the whole community to you.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. I thought it was so cute. There was a little note and it said like, keep shining bright, and it was so sweet. And I'm like, oh, it's a Dana's community. And yeah, it was really cute.
When she said, I said, are you going to have a cake? She goes, well, I'll probably have a mug cake, a strawberry shortcake mug cake. And I thought, uh-uh. And Adam said he had a positive note in here. He said, oh, Lord, I got to scroll up and I'm blind as a bat. I had a longtime friend that lived there, and I'm looking forward to a fresh, brand new start. I love that energy. Yes!
Yeah.
Yes.
A fresh, brand new start is so awesome.
Yep.
It's always nice to take new chances and new opportunities. Yeah?
Yes.
And when you leave one place and go to another, leave as much of the bad behind, and then you can start afresh somewhere else.
And I always pretend like, oh, I'm taking off the debris. Oh, I'm taking it off. I'm taking it off. I'm cutting the cords. I'm leaving all the yuck behind. Yeah. Cover myself with all this light. I'm only connecting with people that have good energy.
You'll have mild winters. You're close to the border to boot down to Seattle. It's all good.
Where's he going?
Vancouver.
Oh, I bet it's gorgeous there.
Oh, I'm envious.
Sam keeps putting like things on Instagram. They've got like the cherry blossoms right now in Vancouver. Oh, beautiful.
So we have cherry blossoms here in Toronto, but this is the second year where we can only see them virtually unless we live in that neighborhood.
Right. I don't.
Unfortunately. So it's like,
Yeah,
but I saw Stan's pictures and they're gorgeous.
I'm still eating.
oh, that's okay. You can still eat. You can eat both of them. You can finish them here.
Go ahead. Try pass up. Turn me off.
It's your birthday.
You can eat all the cupcakes you want.
That was really good.
It's all good. It's only once a year.
I'm sorry.
Treat yourself.
And she's just 11.
That's true.
Yeah.
She's just 11 years old. But
So
you
it's
know,
all good.
we got a lot of stuff off our chest too. It's nice that we can look at things that were uncomfortable or we didn't like or could have been different, woulda, shoulda, coulda. But you know, I also think about, I got a daughter. She was sitting there saying, well, my mama should have done this, or she didn't do that, or this bothered me, and then I didn't realize it bothered her. It killed me.
Yeah.
So I probably have been overly aware in a lot of ways of how I am with her, to the point of being paranoid sometimes, because I didn't want to, it was like, I didn't want to cause any harm.
Right.
But I didn't want to be too easy to the point where she was going to go out and be a crazy girl.
Right.
So there's that fine line.
There's that fine line, but she respects you. So, and she respects herself because of you and the way you raised her.
Well, true. I mean, she has a little bit of healthy fear. Just a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a tad.
Too.
Tiny bit, because it takes a lot to get me angry. I mean, a lot. But she's not going to disrespect me.
Right.
Because I won't tolerate it.
That's right.
I gave birth to you, I'll put you back.
Oh, that's saying I brought you into the world, I can take you out. Yeah.
Dana, I have to hop off shortly, but I do want to say I love this conversation. I've learned a lot. I applaud both you and Jenny and everyone who has gone through the journey, because it's a required one, but it is difficult. And I just want to say, like, unfortunately, I haven't seen the chat, but Adam, if you're starting, you got this. You have it. That's the hardest part, is getting yourself ready to, to come and face these issues. So I applaud all of you guys. And Jenny, have a wonderful, wonderful birthday evening.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you guys soon. And thanks again, Dana.
You're welcome. And let me just say, we've gone through the journey, but it doesn't stop.
Never stops.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
You have to do a check.
It never stops. Our minds just keep going and going. So it's part of being alive.
Yeah.
The journey.
It's just you have to have a checkup every once in a while. Let me check, see what's in there.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful that you were here tonight and that you came up as well, Queen Bee.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you guys, and have a great evening.
You too.
It's always good to hear your voice.
You too, buddy. We're starting cycling soon, so I'm gonna drag you out of the house.
Let me listen. I have my goal of a 5K that I'm doing in June. So I got my QB. I'm up to 1 kilometer a day on it. So I'm working towards that goal, and I will post it on my Instagram once I've completed it.
Running, like a jogging 5K?
Well, you can either do it using an apparatus or walking or jogging. It's a virtual runners thing.
Awesome.
So that's one of my goals for this year. So
awesome. You got it.
And once I can do that, I haven't been on a bikes probably, 25 years. So you'll have to give me some practice.
All good. It's all good. Well, you know what? We'll get strong enough, and then we'll go cycle over to Ginny one day.
Yes.
Wait.
One day, yeah.
I did the Ride to Conquer Cancer, so it was to Niagara Falls, from Toronto to Niagara Falls, which was 230K in total. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, no. London was a whole different no way. I'd probably get stuck in a snowstorm over there.
We're like in a snow belt always.
So it's all good.
All right, guys. Well, have a great evening.
You too. Thank
You
you so
too.
much.
Bye-bye.
Well,
Ciao.
I guess I'm going to start to wrap up because, man, it didn't seem that long, but we've been here almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm going to drop down. Happy birthday, Jenny.
Thank you so much, JC Bear.
And then that way you can, wrap it up and have your final says.
Thank you, JC Bear, so much.
No problem. Ciao.
Bye. We love you. Well, I'm so glad that everybody was here tonight.
Oh, thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, this was a good conversation you had, Dana. I like it. I honestly never heard of it, didn't know what it was until I watched a YouTube video last summer. I actually took notes. It was just like a video like this, and I took notes, and I don't think I mentally prepared for the journey. It just sort of happened.
Well, I think I gave more of an elementary version.
But that's good. That's where we need to start from, right?
Yeah, because I didn't want to make it too deep, too difficult, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But
Great.
I hope that I have given more tools for your I can't talk. I gotta have water.
Tools for your toolbox or your tool belt.
More tools for your toolbox to help you progress in your life, to help you be happier, find some of your own personal gifts, and know that you can feel more enriched where you are. You don't have to feel so stuck. And know that you are very loved and appreciated in this community. Very much so. And Jenny, my girl Jenny, I am so glad that everybody came together and sent you cupcakes on your birthday, it would have been better if I could have been there so I could give you a big hug.
That's okay. I feel the love. I feel the love.
And I am so glad that Billy Bear was like, ooh, baby, cupcakes.
I can't believe he did that. I was like, oh, at first I was horrified for like half a second. And then I'm like, that's the funniest thing he could have. I'll never forget that. So
I wish I could have seen him. I wonder if he took steps to do it. I mean, that's what I was thinking.
well, the thing is, I like he got down off the couch and he was just looking at me smiling and he didn't move. He just had his hands right planted in there, and I thought, you know exactly what you're doing.
Did he have to take steps to get there?
Yeah, he had to get. Well, he got down off the couch and climbed down.
Because, like you said, he was just like, whoop.
Yeah. Well, I am
Hey, the boy's going to be running. I am so sorry.
Let them eat cake.
You're going to be running your booty off soon.
Yep, I sure am. Keep
But-
me young.
Happy birthday. You are so very loved.
Thank you so much, Dana. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them down below. Anybody that's catching this late, please like and subscribe. I am happy that you came to visit. If you would like to hit any commentaries or certain topics, let me know. And please remember, your vibe attracts your tribe. I will see you on Saturday night. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Night, night. And here we go. What am I saying? Wrong one. I can't see it.
We want the party to keep going. That's why.
Yeah. Bye.